Operation Eagle Claw, the failed U.S. mission that changed Special Forces forever in 1980. The U.S. launched Operation Eagle Claw, a daring mission to rescue 52 American hostages from Tehran, Iran. But what went wrong? From deadly sandstorms to a tragic explosion, this failed mission reshaped U.S. Special Operations forever, leading to the creation of SEAL Team 6 and U.S. Special Operations Command, SOCOM. Watch as we break down this real-life military disaster in a gripping, action-packed retelling. Could modern Special Forces have succeeded? Comment below and subscribe for more real military history. Asterisk November 4th, 1979. Tehran, Iran. The sun sets over the U.S. Embassy. Then chaos. Hundreds of militants swarm gates. A security detail of U.S. Marines holds them back as long as they can. But the tide is unstoppable. The embassy is breached. Frantic calls for help flood Washington. 52 American diplomats and staff captured, blindfolded, paraded through the streets like trophies. The message is clear. America is powerless. President Jimmy Carter scrambles for a diplomatic solution, but there is none. Weeks turn into months. The world watches as Iran humiliates the United States. Pressure builds. The American people demand action. The Pentagon draws up a plan. A high-stakes, all-or-nothing operation. The objective: infiltrate Iran, neutralize the guards, and extract the hostages. But failure is not an option. The cost of defeat? Global humiliation. This is Operation Eagle Claw. Plan: a daring gamble. 110 to 220. Asterisk April 1980. The mission is greenlit. At its core, precision, coordination, and speed. Delta Force, America's top secret counterterrorism unit, is selected. For the job, these men have trained for this moment, but never under conditions like this. The operation will unfold in 5 brutal phases. Phase 1, 8 RH-53C Stallion helicopters depart from the USS Nimitz, flying low and undetected toward a remote desert landing zone, Desert 1. There, they rendezvous with C-130 transport planes carrying fuel, supplies, and the elite Delta Force team. Phase 2, the helicopters will refuel and take Delta Force to a second staging area, just outside Tehran. Phase 3, under the cover of darkness, ground teams infiltrate the U.S. Embassy. Delta Force will eliminate the guards, secure the hostages, and signal for extraction. Phase 4, a fast, surgical retreat to a stadium, where waiting aircraft will whisk them out of Iran before enemy forces can react. The plan is complex, dangerous, and fragile. One failure, one misstep, and the entire mission collapses. And deep in the Iranian desert, fate is about to intervene. Into the desert, a mission in. Jeopardy, 2:20 to 3:30. April 24th, 1980. The operation is underway. The first C-130s take off from Oman, carrying the Delta Force team toward Iran's vast, unrelenting desert. The helicopters follow close behind, blades slicing through the night sky. Pilots scan their instruments, checking, double-checking. Then it happens. A massive above, a relentless sandstorm. Radar screens flicker. Visibility drops to near zero. Pilots fight the controls, struggling to stay airborne. The storm chokes their engines. One helicopter aborts, turning back. Another is forced to land in the desert, crippled beyond repair. A third struggles forward, barely operational. Delta Force, waiting on the ground, listens to the reports. The mission is bleeding helicopters. The storm was never in the plan. The first cracks in the operation have begun to form, but the real disaster is still to come. Disaster strikes, the breaking point, 3:30 to 4:40, studio microphone, Desert 1. A desolate wasteland, silent except for the distant hum of approaching engines. The first helicopters arrive, battered but intact. But the numbers don't add up. Only 5 helicopters have made it. 6 are required. Tension rises. The Delta Force commander radios back to Washington. We are 1 helicopter short. Do we continue? The answer is slow, hesitant. Then another blow. A final helicopter breaks down, The hydraulic system fails. Now only 4 remain. The mission is impossible. The order is given, abort. The men are furious. Months of planning, gone in an instant. Frustration boils over. The hostages are still in Tehran. America's finest are forced to retreat, empty-handed. But then, disaster. A helicopter drifts. Too close to AC-130 transport plane. A blinding flash. A deafening explosion. The fireball illuminates the desert night. The mission was already a failure. Now it has become a tragedy. Fire and death. The mission falls. Apart, 440 to 550. Flames consume the wreckage. The desert is filled with smoke, fire, and the screams of the wounded. 8 American servicemen are dead. Delta Force operators sprint through the chaos, pulling survivors from the inferno. Fuel ignites, sending shockwaves through the sand. The mission, already broken, is now a nightmare. No choice remains. The remaining aircraft are ordered to retreat, leaving behind the twisted metal, the charred remains, and the bodies of fallen comrades. As the final C-130 lifts off, the truth sets in. America has failed. The desert holds the wreckage of more than just aircraft. It holds the shattered confidence of an entire nation. And by morning, the world will know. National humiliation, a superpower. Humbled, 5:50 to 7 o'clock. Studio microphone * morning light reveals the wreckage. Iranian forces swarm the site, celebrating. The Ayatollah's government parades the charred remains of U.S. helicopters through the streets. America, humiliated. The Pentagon reels. President Carter takes responsibility. His approval ratings plummet. The failure of Eagle Claw costs him the election. The world has witnessed the limits of American power. But history is not done, because from the ashes of this disaster, a new force will rise. The birth of modern Special Forces 7 to 810. Operation Eagle Claw was a disaster, but it changed history. The U.S. military learns its lesson. Special Operations Command is created. SEAL Team 6 is born. Delta Force expands. Never again will the U.S. military be caught unprepared. Failure is the best teacher, and America has learned. Could modern Special Forces have succeeded? Was the plan doomed from the start? Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe for more real military history.